Hello, students and faculty and members of the Utrgv family. My name is Dr. Catherine Moore McCallan, and I am the director of the Utrgv Center for Latin American Arts. And I wanted to welcome you today to our second annual registration social and financial aid social. We have representatives here from the Financial Aid Office and the Registrar's Office to answer questions for students and faculty if there are any questions about advising, and mainly to create a forum for our students to gather socially and virtually, maintaining all safety precautions during our COVID-19 pandemic, but to help you feel more connected and better served with your questions related to financial aid and registration. And we're going to have two speakers today, one from the Financial Aid Office and one from the Office of the Registrar. Michelle Madrid is from the Office of the Registrar, and she will be presenting a short PowerPoint with some key frequently asked questions and key points for registration to help you with any of your general inquiries. And then after, we will answer questions from anyone in the group. You can type your questions into the Q&A or type your questions in to the chat room. And you can also type privately to both the financial aid and the registrar representatives here today. And we're very honored and thankful for your time, for coming and sharing your knowledge with us so that we can help serve our students. So without further ado, I will introduce our representative from the Office of the Registrar. Michelle Madrid is here, and she is going to present today on registration questions, and then we'll open up the discussion to any students who have any questions. Thank you so much for joining us today, Michelle.
Thank you, Dr. McCallan. Okay, let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen? Can you see my presentation?
Not yet.
Are you able to see it yet?
Yes, we can see it now. Thank you.
Okay. One second. Okay, so where can we register? Most of the students, when they come to orientation, they're given instructions on how to register. It's basically through my.utrgv.edu, what we refer to as assist. Once you're there, you would click on the assist icon, and it will take you into the portal. If you have any issues with your username and password, there is a link where you can go in and get information on how to get help with your username and password. So once you're in Assist, you're going to click on the Student Services tab and then on the registration link. You're going to get a list of links. All of these are useful for registration. The add or drop classes is for assistance with registration. Lookup classes, and then once you are registered, you go into Week at a Glance to get your schedule, and also the student detail schedule helps you with that. Also, if you want to double check to make sure that you are able to register, you can check on the registration status link, and that will give you information on any holds or anything that's preventing you from registering. So once you click on the Look Up Classes link, it's going to prompt you to select the term. If you are taking classes during a module term, then you will select a term that has the word module on it. But if you're just attending a traditional term, you would select the term that does not include these module terms on there. And then you click on Submit. Then you're going to get a list of subjects. So here you would scroll down to look for the subject, the course subject that you're looking for, and then click on Course Search. So for example, if you click on Accounting Course Search, it's going to give you a listing of all the accounting courses and the numbers. So if you're looking for a 2301, you would select on View Sections. And then it's going to give you a list of all the classes that are being offered in that term. And here you're going to get the details of the class. You're going to have the class CRN number, the section number, what campus it's being offered on, the days of the week, the time, capacity, how many students are in the class, and how many slots are remaining. And also this WL stands for wait list. So you'll have the wait list capacity. You'll see the 999 for all of them. Oops, let me go back. 999 because it's just the maximum number we can enter. And then the wait list ACT is a wait list actual. That'll tell you how many students are currently on the wait list. So here I wanted to just quickly go over what these mean here on this column. If you see the SR, it means student restriction. You cannot register, so you'll have to contact the registrar's office to see why you have an SR. If you see a C, it means that the class section is closed because it's full, it's at capacity. So here you can see that the capacity of the class is 50. There's 50 enrolled, so 0 remaining, but you can wait list for the class. However, you do see that to wait list, to select the class, the box has to show up. When there's a C, there isn't a box, so just make sure you write down the CRN number so that you can add it to the add drop worksheet that I'll show you here in a minute. If this is a class that you want to register in, you would just click on this box and you can either do register or add to worksheet. If you already have the CRN numbers of the courses that you want to take, you would select the add or drop classes link. It's going to also prompt you a term. And then it's going to take you to a page where at the bottom of it, it's going to have some blank boxes. Here you could type in the CRN numbers and then submit changes. And that's how you can register for classes if you already have the 5-digit CRN numbers. And then once you're registered in the class, it will confirm it here on the status, web registered with the date. If you want to drop a class, this is also on the action column. You would click on the down arrow, and once you click it, there's an option to drop. So you can drop it that way and then submit. Also, as I mentioned earlier, if you want a wait list, you type in the CRN number of the class section that you want to wait list in. You're going to click here on submit changes, and it's going to give you a registration error that says closed waitlist available, but it's going to give you an option to waitlist for the class. And then at that point, you select the waitlisted and then submit changes. And at that point, you'll be able to register for it. And then here we have some common registration errors that you get. I'm going to click on the link really quick to show you what it looks like. And If you get an error that says your academic standing prohibits registration, it means that you are on suspension status. So you can also get the information when you click on the arrow or on the link. But I just want to go over these really quick because there is a difference with the registration errors. So this one, academic standing, you would be on probation. If you get an error that says student status prohibits registration, it means your student record is inactive. So you have to contact us also to see why it's showing as inactive. If you get the error, you are not permitted to register at this time. That means that because of your classification, usually you should only get this error at the beginning of registration. So the first week of registration, we open registration based on classification. So if, for example, you're a freshman, freshmen typically don't have access to register until the Thursday of that week. So if you're trying to register on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, chances are you're going to get an error like this. You may not add or drop classes. That's another error that you would get. And you can check on your holds to see which hold is preventing you from registering. This SR is the one I previously mentioned. It's a student restriction, and this usually means you are either on, I'm sorry, my mind went blank, on a suspension status. So you will have to contact us if you do see an SR on your record. These other errors here, prerequisite, special approval, program restriction, all of these are basically errors that you get when you try to register for a class that is restricted. So if, for example, the class is restricted by program, only students with a nursing program can register, then you're going to get this type of error if you're, for example, a business major. Co-requisite required. Just know that whenever you try to register for a class, you will get the error message. So when you contact us, you can let us know what that error message is, and that way we will be able to assist you. And let me show you here real quick. So for example, here where it tells you that the wait list, that the class is closed but wait list is available, you would get an error here that tells you why you cannot register. And then these other errors, time conflicts, all these errors, you'll see them where I just mentioned now. And that is all I have. If you have any questions or need additional assistance, you may contact us by phone. You may email us at ucentral@utrgv.edu, or we do have the option to live chat, and this is a link. You may also visit us at the U Central in either Edinburg or the Brownsville campus. And that's all I have. Does anyone have any questions? Or is there anything else you would want me to go over? I do actually want to mention that we will be changing the look of Assist. So it's not going to look like this anymore. More than likely starting with the summer registration, because right now we are doing all the testing to be ready for summer. So expect the look to change. It's still going to be Assist and you're still going to access it the same way, but the look is going to be different. So if you are registering for classes this spring semester, you're still going to be using this these links that I went over. But do expect it to change when we open registration for summer at the end of February, beginning of March. And then let me just go back to the last page.
I had a quick question, Michelle.
Yes.
When I have students that register for my classes, but the class is full, sometimes they email me personally and say, I want to register for a class, but I can't get in. I've never really seen a wait list, or you showed that waiting list. Is that something that faculty need to create?
No. We add a 999 capacity wait list to all the classes, unless it's an independent study or like a thesis class. Otherwise, or a link class. So we won't add a wait list to a linked lab, but we do add it to the linked lecture. So your class should have a wait list. So whenever students reach out to you, let you know that your class is full, you can let them know to go into assist. Just get this 5-digit CRN number and then go to the add drop worksheet, and they just type in the CRN numbers in one of these boxes, submit changes, and then they're going to get this error message that says closed, waitlist available, and then they have to select on the waitlist option here and then submit changes, and that's when they're added to the waitlist.
Okay, great, thanks. We also have a faculty member who wanted to say something. She's one of our advisors in the School of Art in the College of Fine Arts. Lilia Cabrera, do you want to ask your question or make your comment? Hopefully it works. Let me try again. Can you hear us now, Lilia?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for coming.
Okay, you can hear me, right? Okay, good. I was the question that you asked, Catherine, when they have the wait list, like Michelle was saying, sometimes depending if it's, I don't know, I know these are very odd times, and I know I've seen some professors that'll say, well, I know some of our classes that are, I don't know what you call them, the high demand classes, because they're seniors that are going to finish up. We've had some faculty members in graphic design that have kind of gone over the capacity, but the only way to go that route is if the student has the communication with the professor and literally asks permission. So if the student pleads their case with the professor and the professor says, you know what, yes, I already decided I'm going to allow this many more students in, then they communicate with me. So if that happens to you, and let's say you say, I'm okay with allowing this student or 2 more students in, then you would tell me, and then I communicate with Veronica, and we help the student proceed with registering. So that takes like an override from that Veronica is able to do. It's usually either a time conflict override or a classes at capacity, or special permission override. It doesn't happen a lot, but honestly, during this pandemic, it's been happening quite a bit. There's a lot of, because some classes are asynchronous, some are synchronous, and some professors have been accommodating to some students. So I've seen a lot of that. So if that happens to you, just send a student my way. And I mean, it's really up to you about if you want to allow X amount of students, more students into your class, depending on how you have the modality, how you've adapted the students to it. Just wanted to add that.
I'm sorry. In the registrar's office, we discourage departments from doing the overrides because we do have a wait list and it runs a certain way. So sometimes if the student has been, the next student in line on the wait list has received a notification to add him or herself to the class. Sometimes if the department happens to do an override right at that time and the student registers for it, then the student who was next in line is not able to register. So then the student is contacting us at U Central, letting us know I got the notification that I could register, but I'm not able to. And it's usually because the department processed an override for another student who was not on the wait list. So just know that we discourage departments to do that. A lot of instructors will not do it, even if the student, is up for graduation, they still ask the student to get on the wait list. Because a lot of changes do happen, the capacities do change. A lot of times the department will increase the capacities or students will drop. So based on the time, if it's early on, we discourage you from doing that because it'll eventually kind of even out, students will drop. But if the student needs it to graduate, you can always let them know, come see me, a week before classes if you haven't been able to get in or something like that, and then maybe assist them at that point.
Okay, thank you for that. I didn't mean to to provide that information, I guess. I will add that most of these situations have been doubly screened as far as, just having conflict with classes and in situations where there isn't a wait list. I guess I should have said that also.
All classes should have a wait list. If for some reason you find one that does not, you may reach out to me. But all classes, unless it's a linked lab, or like I said, an independent study or a class scheduled just for a particular student or two, we won't add a wait list, but everything else should have a wait list.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying that.
No problem.
Excellent. Thank you for clarifying that. I didn't know that either. I had another question really quickly. What if a student is a graduate student and they have taken a class that they thought was a graduate seminar, but it wasn't, and so they need to check and see if like I had a student who, sorry, that wasn't clear. I had a student who registered for an undergraduate class accidentally as a graduate student, and then submitted a request that the graduate course, it be counted as a graduate course because it was just an error. How does that student find out if that course was counted as a graduate number course and therefore fulfilling the requirements of the graduate prerequisite number of hours? Do they just simply look at their transcript and their grade from that previous semester, or do they need to contact the registrar and ask about that?
So are you asking if it counts as if an undergraduate counts as a prerequisite for a graduate, or as far as registering for the wrong class?
As far as registering for the wrong class, if the student made an effort to correct that, how do they know that it was corrected, and how do they follow through to make sure that they're getting the class they took was the properly numbered class and it was corrected?
Well, for one, the student should follow the courses that are listed in their degree plan as a graduate student. And if it's a master's level, the course number is going to be between 5,000 and 7,000 level. So okay. A course that is from 1,000 to 4,000, they should not be registering for it. I have seen that happen, and I have seen it happen where the advisor or the instructor will admit to saying, I told the student to register in the wrong one. Because sometimes departments will cross-list an undergraduate with a graduate level course, and the student will just happen to register in the wrong one, even though it's the same instructor. The student will be attending the same class. So hopefully the student catches it before classes start. But the first thing it should click on the student is, this is a level that I shouldn't be in. 1,000 to 4,000 level. As a grad student, you should really not be registering in, you know, in those classes. But of course, if we catch it after the student, after classes have started, then the instructor will have to send us an email at the registrar's office and let us know that the student registered in the wrong class, in the wrong level class, and then we'll have to make that change.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let me see if we have any other questions quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay, we have one question. When I try to register for a class, it always gives me the special approval error. What do I do?
Usually, let's see. So usually when you are looking at a class, if the class has a special approval restriction above the class, there will be a message that says this class has a restriction, please contact, and it usually gives the department contact information. So that's where you can check. When you try to register and it says there's a special approval, go back to the class, to where you saw the class listed, and there should be a comment at the top. And so there it'll tell you to reach out to, let's say, for example, it's a math course, reach out to the math department. So then you can contact them and tell them I'm trying to register for this class, and then they'll let you know what they need to give you the access. If for some reason the class does not have a message on top, you could send us you can typically just reach out to the department. So if the subject is an accounting course that you're trying to register, reach out to accounting department. If it's a biology, reach out to biology department. If it's a chemistry course, reach out to the chemistry department, and so on. It's always the department who does the overrides. It's not the registrar's office who restricts them. It's the department.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. And another student said, I'm worried that I'll be taking too many classes this semester. What can I do? What should I do? I'm not sure if she's referring to, she's personally thinks she's taking too many classes, or is there a way to see all the classes you've registered for and just get a handle on how many hours you've committed to?
Yes, you can check here on the student detail schedule or the week. I think the week at a glance just looks like a calendar. But if you go to the student detail schedule, it'll tell you the number of hours you registered in. Also, if you go to the add drop worksheet, it'll give you the status of the classes. So it'll show web registered, and then it gives you the number of credits that you registered. So here, three credit hours. If you're an undergrad student, the max hours you could register in is 18. So it should tell you the number of credits, but if not, you can find them here. So for example, here I'm registered for 6 hours. So just depending if you want to be a full-time student, you just need the 12 hours, and you can go up to 18. And then for financial aid purposes, that would be different, because if you have a scholarship or something like that, I believe you have to be registered in a certain amount of hours. But the max you can register in is 18. And you can go over 18, but you need permission to do that from the dean's office of your major.
Excellent. That's a great question. I didn't realize that 18 hours was the maximum.
For undergrads, yes. And for grads, it's 15.
Okay. And full-time status is 12 hours for both undergrad and graduate students?
For grad, I believe it's 9. And for undergrad, it's 12.
Okay, so graduates
I believe. I think
will
Correct.
last.
For financial aid, full-time status is 9 hours, and for full-time for undergrad is 12.
thank you.
Great. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Awesome. Okay, does anyone have any other questions? Let me see. Oh, I'm sorry. One more question from a student. I've had classes canceled at the last minute. By when should we be notified of cancellations? Right now, I suppose.
Right now, unfortunately, to cancel a class, we cancel is a high enrollment. So if it's a class with, let's say there's more than 10 students in a class, in the registrar's office, if we receive a request from the department to cancel it, we ask them for a justification. So just know that we try to get the department not to cancel them if there's high demand for them. Sometimes if there isn't high demand, a lot of the times the reason the department's request to cancel is because there is not high demand and there's only a few students registered. But if for some reason you need the class because you're registering this semester, always go back to the department and talk to them and let them know that you need the class to register. Or you can also contact them and ask them if they will be scheduling it next term, or but the department would be the one to give you that information. As for our office, we just cancel it when they ask us to cancel it, unless it has high demand.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Okay, I think unless we have any other questions, anyone, please let me know if you have any more questions. Also, please let me know if you'd like me to activate your mic and you could speak personally with the registrar and financial aid representatives at any time. Just let me know and I can do that for you. I think at this moment, we'll go ahead and switch over to Giselle to present about financial aid questions. And then after Giselle presents, we can circle back and do a more general Q&A if anyone has other questions. Oh wait, hold on one sec. Hold on. I think we have one more question. Sorry, really quick. Maybe we'll just ask it super fast before. I'm trying to figure out how to give the student speaking privileges. Let's see. Okay, Javier, can you talk? Did you want to say something, Javier? Or did I misunderstand you that you wanted to say something?
I think he's muted.
Oh, okay. Can you unmute yourself? Okay.
I'm sorry, I can't talk at the moment.
Oh, okay, no problem. I thought you were asking to speak. I apologize. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Okay, so we'll go ahead and move forward then with our representative from the Financial Aid Office, Giselle Martinez. We're so thankful that you're here today, and we look forward to your presentation here on financial aid, scholarships, and other financial opportunities for students. Thanks for coming.
No problem. Good afternoon, everyone. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So right now, I'm going to be going over next academic year. I'm hoping everyone who is attending this current academic year has completed their FAFSA for this current academic year for fall 2020, spring 2021, and summer 2021. I'm hoping everyone has their FAFSAs completed already, and any items we may be asking for. But if you have any questions about this current academic year, this information still, well, some of this information still applies, but we have passed some deadlines when it comes to this current academic year. So, but this information can still apply generally. So we're just going to go over some important facets of financial aid. Let me just, okay. So applying for next year. So, and this is going to be for fall 2021, spring 2022, and summer 2022, those terms. So we do have priority deadlines. So the FAFSA is completed by students who are permanent residents or US citizens, and you can complete that at fafsa.gov. And if you're not a permanent resident or a US citizen, you could be eligible to complete the TASFA. These are available October 1st. So if you have not completed it for next academic year, I recommend for you to do it after this meeting today, this week. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to ask us about the process. We do recommend for you to get these things completed by January 15th. That's our state priority deadline. We do have really good programs here at the Financial Aid Office that we do adhere to the January 15th deadline. So the earlier is better if you do want to see if you are eligible for our grants or programs. We do have the tuition advantage. The tuition advantage does pay for the gap in tuition that's not covered by existing grants or scholarships that you've been awarded. And the deadline for this is March 1st. So just keep note of these deadlines. And so applying for financial aid, the FAFSA is the free application for federal aid. This is for US citizens or legal permanent residents, and you complete it at fafsa.ed.gov. We have the TASFA. It's used to apply for state aid. This is for students who are DACA students or who are not US citizens or permanent residents. There's no online application for this. We have paper ones, PDF. You can find the PDF at our College for All Texans website or at the utrgv/FinAid website. And just a reminder, October 1st, it was available October 1st, and our priority deadline is January 15th. So documents that may be needed for next academic year, it's going to be 2019 tax information. So if you and your parents did do your taxes for 2019, that information is going to come in handy when you're filling out the FAFSA or TASFA. Also 2019 W-2s for parent and or students if you did earn wages for 2019. If parent or student did work out of the country, we will need a 2019 foreign tax return, and if a foreign tax return was filed. And a social security number for parent and student. Of course, if you're a TASFA student, that's not needed. If you're a FAFSA student, that is needed. For your parent, if you're a FAFSA student, but your parent does not have a social security number, at the end of the FAFSA where your parent has to sign, there is an option to print out a piece of paper to sign and to mail. And if needed, for students who are permanent residents, that is information that is needed. And other income information such as Social Security benefits, veteran benefits, disability benefits, child support paid or received if this is applicable to you. And of course, students who do fill out the TASFA, we do need for them to verify, we do need to verify that they have registered for the selective service, but this is TASFA where you have to sign a form that yes, you are registered, no, you're not registered, or if you're exempt. grades matter. So we do have satisfactory academic progress. In order to receive federal, state, and institutional financial aid, students must maintain SAP. Dual enrollment and your concurrent enrollment grades do count towards your SAP. So if you did not, your courses that transfer over, your dual enrollment that you did do in high school, that does count towards your satisfactory academic progress. Some grants and scholarships may require specific GPAs to be eligible for aid. So right now, our satisfactory academic progress, students, undergraduates, they must pass 67% of their courses. You calculate this by dividing your past courses by your total attempted courses. And they must also have a GPA of at least a 2.0. But of course, this may not be applicable for all grants. So I do recommend to read your award descriptions on your assist account to see if any of your awards or scholarships require specific grades. For example, for Texas grant, if you look under the award description, that one does say you need to pass 24 hours each academic year with a 2.5 GPA. So since that's different from since those requirements are different from satisfactory academic progress, we do make sure to put it on our on the award description. So make sure to look over your awards to make sure you're meeting the academic requirements. And of course, you could always give us a call, send us an email if you have any questions. For graduate students, it's not here, but they must have a 3.0 GPA. And I'm not too familiar with the passing rate, but I could, if anyone has questions on that, I'll find that out after this. For undergraduates, you must not exceed maximum time frame. So there is a limit to financial aid. So you are no longer eligible for financial aid once you reach 180 credit hours. So there's different types of financial aid. When you submit a FAFSA, it's going, we're automatically going to see, we're going to determine which federal and state and institutional grants you may be eligible for. For the TASFA, TASFA students are only eligible for state and institutional aid. So when you submit a FAFSA or TASFA, we are already determining or figuring out which criteria you meet for specific grants. So the first one is Pell Grant. It's a federal need-based grant. Completing the FAFSA will give an estimate of Pell Grant eligibility. There's also the SEOG grant. This is also a federal grant. It's need-based for Pell eligible students with the most need, and this is limited in funding. We do have the Texas grant. This is a need-based state grant. It has some academic requirements, and funding is available. Funding available can be very limited, and it varies from school to school. We also have the Texas Public Education Grant, or TPEG. This is a need-based state grant. Funds can be limited and are usually awarded on a first-come, first-served basis. Next is student loans. This is borrowed money that has to be repaid when a student graduates or stops attending school. This can be need-based or non-need-based. Interest rates are determined by the Department of Education, and they can vary by loan type. The first one is the Federal Direct Subsidized Loan. This loan is for undergraduate students who demonstrate financial need. The government pays for the interest while the student is in school. Next is the federal direct unsubsidized loan. This loan is for students that do not demonstrate financial need. This for this loan, interest accrues while the student is in school. There's also the Parent Plus loan. It's available to parents of dependent students and it does not require need. And these are all federal. There are there's a state loan for TASFA students. Usually for TASFA, for that, students need to contact us directly. The next type of aid is work study. This comes from different types of sources, from federal, state, and institutional financial aid. Work study helps students find part-time student employment to currently enrolled students if they need additional funds. Work study offers a flexible work schedule and provides opportunities to develop and improve professional work experience. There is a question in the FAFSA that asks if you are interested in work study. If you answer yes, if we do have the funding, if you are eligible, if you have a need, it will be offered to you. And if you have not been offered work study and you are interested in it, we do have an additional aid request. You submit the additional aid request, and if you're eligible and there's funding, you'll be awarded. If you're not eligible, you'll be contacted with more information on why you are not eligible. The work study program employs over 1,000 students per academic year on campus or with pre-approved off-campus organizations. The Tuition Advantage Program. So the UTRGV Tuition Advantage Program covers the gap in tuition and fee expenses per semester that is not being covered by other forms of gift aid, by any grants or scholarships. The requirements is that a student must have a family income of $95,000 or less and demonstrate financial need as reported on the FAFSA or TASFA. They must be classified as a Texas resident, and they must be enrolled in 15 hours or more per semester. They must be an undergraduate in their seeking their first degree, their first undergraduate degree. For entering freshmen, they must have an ACT composite score of a 19 or an SAT composite of a 990 or be in the top 10% of their graduating class. Students must complete the FAFSA or TASFA process and including they must complete their verification items by March 1st. So completing the FAFSA or TASFA may not be this mainly applies to FAFSA students. So the FAFSA may not be the last step. You may be selected for a process that is called verification. This is basically where you confirm the information submitted in the FAFSA. So even though you completed the FAFSA, you may have been selected for verification. So I do recommend, do your FAFSA, keep a lookout on your UTRGV email, monitor your assist account because we may be missing additional items. I do see some questions.
Yes, we had a student ask a question. Did you see that?
Right now we don't have any. Someone's asking, have you received any news on how the Biden-Harris student loan plan will affect students in 2021? As of right now, we don't have any information on that, but if there's any big changes, we do inform students on any big changes, especially when it concerns their student loans. We do recommend for students to keep a lookout on studentaid.gov. That's where all federal information on federal aid is posted.
Studentaid.gov.
Yeah, let me just double check.
If you want to type it in the chat box.
Aid.gov.
And just while she's doing that, the student is referring to the President-elect Biden's proposal for the Biden-Harris student loan bill, which states that it will forgive $10,000 from student debts. And this student found that UTRGV is on the list of schools for this bill if it were to be passed. So that will be for students who have already graduated or current students. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, and the cool thing about your student loans is if you guys have been they do send emails and updates on your student loans, the federal government as well. So just keep a lookout. Make sure that your contact information on your lender's profile is up to date, because the federal government does communicate with students a lot on the status of their loans. I'm unable to.
So the government, you're saying they will contact students separately from?
I mean, they keep them updated. They send them emails on, you know, just changes that may happen to their student loans. Like for example, the payment deferment because of COVID. The government is sending emails, you know, letting them know, hey, by January, that's when you're going to have to start paying, you know, working, when payments are we're going to be asking for payment again for student loans. So they're very proactive to informing students on any big changes like that. And I wasn't able to, I'm not able to access the chat. So I did put the studentaid.gov website. This is a really great resource for federal aid and any news regarding federal aid. Okay.
Okay.
There was another question. Oh, I have access to the chat now. Okay.
There was a student who asked me a question about scholarships.
Oh, for scholarships. Okay, so we do have a scholarship application here at UTRGV. So let me pull up the page. It's at enrollment.utrgv.edu /apply scholarships. I also put the link on the chat. So you can search for scholarships here, you have to create an account, and it'll give you a list of scholarships that you may be eligible for. Also, there may be third-party scholarships out there. So there is a link here to external scholarships that you can look at.
Giselle, is there a like an internal UTRGV scholarship deadline for the UTRGV scholarship portal?
That is a great question. I'm not too sure about that. Let me see. I believe they do have. If they do have a scholarship deadline. The scholarship website is very helpful. There's even a scholarship myths section. So for entering freshmen, the deadline is December 1st. And for returning students, I believe, I don't have the deadline for returning students, but I do recommend going through the scholarships website. They do have a timeline because there's several programs or scholarships that do have their specific deadlines, and they do have it outlined all over here.
Okay. And is the deadline for returning students after freshmen, most likely after that or before that?
It would be after. It's usually in the spring.
Okay.
Okay, so someone did ask, well, someone did ask if they're over the 180 credit hour maximum time frame. If you are, and you are suspended from financial aid due to that, we do have an appeals website. You can go to utrgv.edu/appeals. And you just log in with your UTRGV credentials and just go under financial aid and pick the appropriate status that you're appealing for. And if you are over the 180 and you are still need time to graduate and you want to see if you still qualify for financial aid, do your FAFSA still, submit your appeal, and yeah, and spring appeals are open already for spring.
That's an excellent question. Is that usually just a formality that you have to fill out the online appeals if you have that you're over your credits, or is it dealt with on a case-by-case basis?
Yeah, it's on a case-by-case basis. What's going to happen is oftentimes for maximum time frame appeals, you're asked to meet with your academic advisor so they could fill out the maximum time frame appeal, and it outlines, okay, how many credit hours do you need, how many semesters is this going to take, and then our financial aid appeals committee, they review that and they see if it's something that they'll be able to approve an appeal for, and for how long.
Okay.
Any other questions?
You can also type in any questions privately to Giselle if you wish to just type an anonymous and private question. No one else will see it. There's that option on the chat. Okay, well, if there are no other questions at this moment, I wanted to encourage all students to reach out to us at the Center for Latin American Arts. We can direct you to connect with Giselle Martinez and the Financial Aid Office. She has put her contact information here on the PowerPoint. And also, if you would like to contact Michelle Madrid at the Registrar's Office, her email is Michelle, MICHELLE .madrid, MADRID @utrgv.edu, or you can contact the Registrar's Office as well as UCentral. Michelle, do you want to maybe just say something very quickly, because your PowerPoint's no longer up, about who to contact?
Yes, they can contact us by phone, 888-882-4026. They can visit us at UCentral at either Brownsville or Edinburg campus, so that you can visit us in person. And there's also a live chat available at utrgv.edu/ucentral/index. And when you're at the UCentral website, there's actually a chat button at the bottom right corner.
Thank you. Would you mind giving us that phone number one more time?
888-882-4026.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat. Here we go. Great. Well, thank you so much for coming today. We really appreciate it. And we wanted to also let all the students and faculty know that we will post this event on our website at the utrgv.edu/CLAA. And we will also be posting this recorded event on our YouTube channel. So if you have any students or colleagues who missed the opportunity to attend today, but would still like to catch up on all the information, we will be posting this on our website along with the PowerPoints that Giselle and Michelle showed today, if that's okay with both of y'all. So students can access that information at a later date if they weren't able to attend today.
Yes, no problem.
Yes, of course. Thank
Just
you.
know that for registration, it's going to be outdated fairly soon. Because the look, as I had mentioned, the look assist is going to change the registration site.
Okay, no problem. When will that change go into effect?
It should go into effect for summer registration.
Okay, great. Thank you. We'll make a note of that. Okay, well, thank you all for coming today. I really appreciate your time and your generosity and sharing your knowledge with our students and our faculty. And thank you all for your participation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Have a wonderful day.